The year is 2040 and the Canadian Championship is moving on to the round of 16. Now, after the growth of the sport here in Canada, and especially after the Canadian men's national team, a couple World Cup runs, this competition has hit an entire new level. So what we are going to do today is we're going to take a look at the upcoming round of 16 and give you guys a quick preview because there is some juicy matchups. The round of 16 draw was an absolute dream. There is some incredible matchups as well as some really juicy storylines. So let's take a look at the clubs, starting with the MLS sides. We have Toronto FC, Montreal Impact, Vancouver Whitecaps, and AFC Calgary. For our CPL sides, we have 11 of them. Halifax Wanderers FC, Atletico Ottawa, Forge FC, Valor FC, FC Edmonton, Pacific FC, Saskatoon City FC, Real Montreal FC, York United, Red Bull Moncton, Quebec Saint-Germain. And the surprise storyline of the competition so far is that we have one amateur club still in the competition. That is the Moose Jaw Mickey Runners, who eliminated in the playoff Mainland FC, Electric City FC, and AS Blainville. Now we're going to take a look at the first matchup, which is an all-Ontario battle. It's Toronto FC versus York United. Toronto FC is led by head coach Gareth Wheeler and assistant coach Jonathan Osorio. Wheeler is taken over from Wilden Jr., who is returning to MLS expansion side AFC Calgary, but we'll get more on that later. And they're taking on Oliver Platt's York United in the first leg of the round of 16 clash. A real story, though, is off the pitch, and that is the fact that Wheeler and Platt were both colleagues and analysts on OneSoccer, but they decided to both take a different direction. They went on and they started their coaching career. There's been a little tension between the two, with MK Dons recently finishing above Manchester United in the Premier League. There's been a little back and forth there. Platt is definitely making sure he knows that Manchester United is continuing on the fall. But we're going to hear more on the two managers' styles and a little bit more on the detail of the match from the managers themselves.
Here's the thing. I know Ollie. He's a great guy, just a crap coach. He's pragmatic in his tactics, but I think he's going to be completely predictable. I know exactly what kind of 11 he's going to line up, what kind of 11 he's going to play. This may be the easiest round of 16 tie we've ever faced in this competition. In fact, this might be the most straightforward round of 16 tie in the competition's history.
Look, it tells you all you need to know about the job Gareth's doing at TFC, that two of their best players were desperate to join us this offseason. They said they had to get out of there, that it's complete chaos. I'll see you guys in the quarterfinals.
Taking a look at our next matchup, we have Real Montreal taking on Atletico Ottawa. This is a fierce rivalry. The two clubs are relatively close to one another and, of course, have roots going back to Spain. Patrice Bernier is the head coach of Real with assistant coach Sergio Ramos, who just got his coaching license and is trying to get his feet wet in the coaching field, where Atletico Ottawa head coach Drew Becky is suspended for this matchup for an on-field issue. He's a very passionate manager, unfortunately picked up a suspension for this one. Obviously, there's no love lost between these two sides, and we're going to take a look at the two leaders as well as the two top goal scorers for these clubs, focusing first on Atletico captain. He is the former Atletico Madrid striker as well as son of Diego Simeone, and that is Giuliano Simeone, who's captaining the side, going up against fellow captain Real Montreal's leading goal scorer Milan Piqué, who is the son of Gerard Piqué and Shakira. Now, there was a little issue when he decided to play for a Real Madrid related side, of course being Barcelona star Piqué, but I think Piqué is kind of relaxed a little bit because he's found some love here working under the likes of Sergio Ramos, and he has taken this club to a new level. So keep an eye on those two there, and there is a rumor that Shakira will be featuring at this match. The next matchup is El Clasico, and this is going to be a very intriguing one because this is going to be the first matchup these two clubs face off since Calgary has become an MLS franchise. And a little background on that: due to the insane housing prices in Toronto and Vancouver, an entire generation of young people moved to Calgary during the 2030s. And as a result, the city became the next cool city in North America, a la Nashville, Austin, etc. So MLS pounced and capitalized on Calgary's growth and snatched the CPL team away. The 2040 Canadian Championship is going to be the first time that Calgary is competing as an MLS side, and Tommy Wilden Jr. has returned to the club since a 4-year spell at Toronto FC. and they take on Tommy Amiobi's FC Edmonton in the latest edition of El Clasico. This rivalry has hit all new heights, and a big part of that has to go to Alphonso Davies. He's returned to his home club. It was a fairy tale story, and it came at a time where FC Edmonton needed it. The stadium fills up every single time. They've completely oversold this El Clasico edition. It's going to be absolutely intense. Alphonso Davies, at the age of 39, is still kicking it and is going to retire in a fairy tale story this season in his home club of FC Edmonton. In the next matchup, we see the Montreal Impact take on Quebec Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain set up shop just outside Quebec City, and it worked. There's a Saint-Germain there. It just logistically, it made sense, and Quebec is a big soccer city. They wanted this club. They got this club, and they are here. It was basically their next big infrastructure project, and it's been a massive success. And it also helped with the return for Jonathan David at the age of 40, playing under head coach Samuel Piette. It's a real storyline there. It's going to be interesting to see David and Davies take on each other in CPL action this season. But they take on another rebranded Montreal Impact. They've a little bit lost their identity, but they've kind of found it again. They are back to being the Montreal Impact, and it's going to be a very interesting side. This team has been very decent over the last few years in the MLS, but they are going to take on a up-and-coming side, and I think Jonathan David is going to have a big spectacle on the show today. In our next matchup, we have another derby between Halifax Wanderers and Red Bull Moncton. Halifax Wanderers play at the Stephen Hart Stadium as part owner Stephen Hart, now retired, watches on gleefully from his private box, sharing only the finest vintages with his esteemed friends and colleagues, comfortable knowing that the 6 times CPL champions have brought pro soccer to the Atlantic provinces once again. They are going up against Red Bull Moncton, who is managed by Chow Morelli. And Chow Morelli is a cult hero for the Halifax Wanderers, winning everything there is to win for the CPL side. Once he retired, he settled in Canada and has now had the opportunity to take over Red Bull Moncton. He's a very intellectual guy. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he has delivered. The CPL side is thriving, but they do have the resources to back them up, as you'd expect, because Red Bull is pumping a decent chunk of money. They definitely wanted to capitalize on the growth here in Canada. It's going to be very interesting seeing this matchup going on, and I think that there might be an upset on the cards. In our next matchup, we have a West Coast battle as the Vancouver Whitecaps take on Pacific FC. Pamadou Ka is now managing the Vancouver Whitecaps, and Marco Bustos is coaching Pacific FC. The student has truly become the master because, unfortunately for the Vancouver Whitecaps, Pacific has knocked them out of the competition every time they face each other. The Vancouver Whitecaps has not won the Canadian Championship since 2015. It's their only success in this tournament, and it has truly haunted them. Marco Bustos was a CPL legend under Pamadou Ka at Pacific, and he went on to have a fantastic career. He has transformed into a spectacular manager, and you would expect that because Marco Bustos has succeeded at all levels, from playing to coaching here in Canada. But the big story is whether the Whitecaps can finally overcome this hurdle. It's been 25 years since they have won the Canadian Championship. They need to do this, and under Pamadou Ka, they're going to have true belief that this could be the year. Our next matchup sees Saskatoon FC taking on Valor FC. Saskatoon finally got the rights, and they've become a CPL franchise. They brought soccer to Saskatchewan. They're not going to be the favorites in this competition, but they are really excited for their first edition of the Canadian Championship. And they're taking on Valor FC, who are regulars. They obviously go on deep runs. They're led by head coach William Akio, who has been spectacular. He's really enjoyed his time playing in Winnipeg, and now he gets the opportunity to coach them. They're the heavy favorites, but I mean, if you're looking at the betting odds and want to make a little bit of money, maybe throw a couple bucks there on Saskatchewan. In our last round of 16 matchup, we see the defending Canadian Championship winners, Forge FC, taking on the Fairy Tale Story. They're taking on Moose Jaw Mickey Runners, and they are on a dream run. This is the only semi-pro team left in the round of 16. Moose Jaw represents League One Prairies, and they beat out 3 other CPL sides, Electric City FC, Mainland BC, and AS Blainville, to earn a spot in the knockout stages. What they lack in resources, they more than make up for in the sort of drunken shenanigans you'd expect from small town Saskatchewan. They match up against Forge under Bobby Smirniotis. They are the favorites, having won the 2039 CONCACAF Champions League, becoming the first Canadian club to win the competition. This will be a juicy matchup. It is a David versus Goliath matchup. I think the neutrals will all be cheering for the Mickey Runners, but more than likely, Bobby is going to lead this side to another deep run in the competition. Be sure to leave your guys' predictions for the 2040 Canadian Championships in the comments. We will get to them in 18 years from now, but for the time being, be sure to tune in to the latest edition of the Canadian Championship in 2022, which kicks off on OneSoccer on May the 10th. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this, and if you did, as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub as well, because we're getting very close to 50,000 subscribers. Very cool milestone here on the channel. And be sure to subscribe to OneSoccer to stay up to date with all things Canadian soccer. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, take care, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers, friends.